Well, a former banker for the Swiss giant UBS blew the whistle on the biggest tax evasion scheme in U.S. history, is asking President Obama today for clemency. The clemency request is being filed to coincide with Tax Day, the day U.S. income tax returns are due for all of us. In January, Bradley Birkenfeld began serving a 40-month sentence despite playing a key role in uncovering the bank scandal. Birkenfeld first came forward to U.S. authorities in 2007 and began providing inside information on how UBS was helping thousands of Americans evade taxes by hiding billions of dollars in secret Swiss accounts.
Due in part to information provided by Birkenfeld, UBS pleaded guilty last year and paid a $780 million fine. UBS has also agreed to turn over the names of the nearly 4,500 of its American clients to the Justice Department. Meanwhile, thousands of other Americans with unreported offshore accounts have been allowed to belatedly disclose them and pay civil penalties. The jailing of Birkenfeld has angered many advocates of whistleblowers. His attorney, Stephen Cohen, joins us now from Washington, D.C. Cohen is Executive Director of the National Whistleblowers Center. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Stephen Cohen. Start by explaining how exactly it is that this whistleblower, Bradley Birkenfeld, ended up in jail.
Well, good morning. And Mr. Birkenfeld did the right thing. He had information about the largest tax fraud ever turned in. And he walked it over to the Justice Department. He gave him the information. They said, thank you very much. But because he was one of the bankers involved, they indicted him. So they put him in jail for voluntarily, without immunity, turning in the largest tax fraud ever, while thousands of people who profited by millions of dollars have escaped. They went after the whistleblower.
Well, Stephen Cohen, the government claims that he didn't provide all of the information on his biggest client, a Russian from California who was subsequently indicted on tax fraud as well, and that he withheld vital information from the government.
Yeah, and now our investigation has shown that was completely false. This billionaire, Mr. Alenikoff, had $200 million hidden offshore, for which he had for years and years. He was eventually indicted and given probation, no jail time, and a minor fine. Then they turned around to Birkenfeld and said, ha, he was your client. You should have turned him in. We'll put you in jail for 40 months. Well, the record shows that Birkenfeld disclosed all of the information about Alenikoff voluntarily to the U.S. Senate investigators before Alenikoff was indicted and before he was sentenced. So the government's claim that he was withholding that information just was not true. What's incredible in this case is that Mr. Birkenfeld worked for a secret bank in Switzerland. It was UBS, the largest bank in the world, but this account that he worked in were the secret accounts where people could put money without disclosing it to the IRS. You know, the classic secret Swiss bank account. It was a fraud, $20 billion fraud. He turned in all the information. The United States government has collected billions of dollars now from the taxpayers who were secretly withholding their income. They collected $780 million from UBS. He was the largest tax whistleblower in U.S. history. Every American has saved money from what he turned in. But the government turned against him. And by putting him in jail is creating a chilling effect. Other bankers who have this type of information are afraid. Why would anyone blow the whistle on secret bank accounts if they're the ones who would end up in prison? That's why our campaign that we've started today for executive clemency. He is serving in prison more time than any other banker from UBS. more prison time than the ones who didn't blow the whistle, the ones who managed the program. He is serving more time in jail than any of the 19,000 Americans who profited personally from these accounts. The government's sending a terrible, terrible message. Don't blow the whistle. If you do, we'll take the information you gave us, use it against you, and put you in jail. We have to turn that around. And the only way to do it right now is through clemency.
Stephen Cohen, I'd like to ask you about UBS Americas, which is the U.S. subsidiary of UBS International. Specifically, the head of that bank, Mr. Wolf, here in the United States. Robert Wolf, he is a President Obama named him to his Economic Recovery Commission. He raised he had the first major fundraiser for Barack Obama in New York. Is a close confidant of the president and a frequent visitor, one of the most frequent visitors to the Obama administration in the White House. The White House told the Wall Street Journal several months ago that they believed that UBS Americas had nothing to do with the fraud that was being perpetrated by its parent company. But in the letters that you have sent to the Justice Department, you've raised questions about the veracity of what was the connection between UBS Americas and the UBS fraud that was being orchestrated out of Switzerland. Could you talk about that?
Oh, absolutely. One of the key allegations and the documentation provided to the Justice Department by Mr. Birkenfeld was proof that UBS America was helping UBS in Switzerland. They claimed there was a line between the two entities, that the secret Swiss accounts in Switzerland, run by UBS, were somehow not connected to its American operations. What Mr. Birkenfeld has was information that the United States Bank facilitated the work of the international bankers. They let the bankers come in and use their offices, use their express accounts, use their corporate discounts. They got tickets for major charity events where very wealthy people would attend, and then UBS America would give these tickets to the international bankers to come and meet with wealthy people to set up illegal accounts. UBS America essentially facilitated and directly gave monetary support to the work of the international bankers. It was part of a conspiracy, in a sense that the two entities worked together. Mr. Birkenfeld has significant information about that he's turned over. We've again put it all together in a formal letter to the Justice Department demanding a full review and an investigation. But UBS America was part of this scandal because they assisted the international bankers in moving wealth from America to Switzerland, putting it into secret Swiss accounts, and taking it off the tax rolls.